Dead Space is back with a remake of the beloved 2008 original currently.
It's gonna be so much of a surprise right now, but I've never actually played any of the Dead Spaces. I just completely blanked out in that era of like games.
In production. And while the series has remained dormant for years, the developers at EA Motive are hoping to bring the nightmares of Isaac's journey aboard the Ishimura back to life, using the latest console technology to create a stunning new take on the adventure. Ahead of its reveal, IGN spoke to two leads on the project about why the team chose to remake the original, how they're staying faithful to that visceral classic.
Why the team chose to make the original? Because every other fucking company has been doing a remake of their own fucking old games.
While injecting some new life into it,
Yeah.
and the team's unique approach to involving fans in the game's development.
The foundation on which we're starting is that we are rebuilding completely the game, but in Frostbite, in the new engine. So the original game was made in a really old engine. So we have all the original assets. So for example, as level design, the foundation currently of the game on which now we're iterating, we started with the original level design collisions of the original Dead Space. And what's funny in that actually is that you can see also some of the iterations that were made prior to ship by the team. Like
I really need to go back and play the originals. I think there was how many of them? There was two, right? Are they? Oh, there was three. Wow. Well, technically, Dead Space Ignition, but I don't know what the hell that is. I don't think is that part of canon. Oh, whatever. Is it on Steam? I need to go back and play that game. Oh, it actually is on Steam. That would be a fun game to go play. All right. Anyways.
In the first chapter, you can see some corridors that they wanted to do first in a certain way, and then you can understand why they change it for technical constraint or other things. So we also have that type of history in the data that is really interesting. But then in terms of visual, sound, gameplay, everything, we are rebuilding all of those assets. We are not porting them. It's not appraising the texture or adding more faces, more polygons to the model. It's really rebuilding all those elements, shooting all the animations, etc. And then there are a couple of elements on which we want to iterate and try to add improvements to it. Whether it's on the horror, on the immersion, or even on the gameplay, there are elements that we don't want to change the experience. We really want to stay true to that experience, and that's why we've started to work with some passionate people in the community to make sure that we still nail that experience, that it's Dead Space.
When I was younger, I heard nothing but good things about this fucking this game specifically. So I don't know. I have to go back and play it, but oh yeah.
Come on. Got it.
Isaac, get the hell out of there!
But then with stuff like with the really fast SSDs that we have currently with the new generation, okay, that's probably really interesting things that we can do in terms of creating a more immersive Ishimura, or other elements like, for example, taking inspiration in what comes after what they did, let's say on Dead Space 2 with the zero gravity and how you move around in zero gravity compared to Dead Space 1. That's definitely something that is really interesting to us and that we're playing with, and that's how we are approaching changes to the original, is through the lens of those improvements we want to make.
Well, clearly, next generations of console enable us to have ray trace reflection and volumetric effects, or even fluid simulation for these effects. 3D
Oh,
audio
no doubt
with
this game's gonna look badass.
understanding where the sound comes from, having the right propagation in the corridors, making it come from the vents above you or behind you. these are all things that we'll be able to expand on to increase, again, on the level of immersion and make sure that, yeah, like Roman said, the Ishimura is alive. It's dying, but it's still alive, and it has a voice. And throughout your journey over the chapters of the game, you hear it progress, and that's the type of evolution that we want to make sure that the players notice when they play the game.
One thing for me
Oh,
that is really
fuck.
iconic of Dead Space, it's often, at least at the beginning of the game when they're playing a little bit with your senses, you get that whisper in your ear that is concerned. And that's pretty creepy and scary in the
What?
game.
What
That now
the
imagine
fuck?
with the current
What
3D
the
audio
hell?
technologies. how
ASMR
you
in the
would
middle of a
constantly-
video, bro?
It's that.
Isaac, it's me.
Damn, this was a
I wish I could talk
2008
to
game?
you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything.
Everything that you're gonna see in the world, every UI element, every HUD, everything is diegetic, and it's presented from the perspective of Isaac. We want to make that immersion even deeper with a fully uninterrupted experience from the start screen to the end credits. We don't want anything to pull you out of the experience, and we don't want any cut. And so that's something that we're using, like when I was speaking about faster SSDs and this kind of thing. There's not gonna be any loading. There's not gonna be any moment where we're gonna cut your experience, where we're gonna cut your camera. You can play it from the start screen to the end credits seamlessly.
As an objective that we gave early on to everyone, what we're trying to achieve is a level of immersion where you never want to put your controller down. Like, Dead Space is not a 60, 100 hour game. Like, ideal scenario, you don't actually want to get up to go to the bathroom because you're so immersed within the universe, and you want to play it through in one sit down.
For us, what is important, the foundation is it's Dead Space 1 story. So by default, that's what is canon. But then there are some improvements that we want to make to that story, and not
Oh,
necessarily
shit.
improvements because
Talk about
those
lights on
things
your
were not
face.
really working in the original. More improvements because of what came after, and we're like, oh man, that's interesting if we could be referencing that, or if we could make a link to that doesn't feel like they tried to retrofit it afterward.
So we're doing it from a narrative standpoint, but we're also looking at it from a feature standpoint and the improvements and some of the content that evolved throughout the franchise. So we're looking at what can be taken and like re-injected within the first game from a feature standpoint. We're also learning from mistakes such as microtransactions, which we will not have. For instance, in our game.
Microtransactions.
On the combat.
In a single-player
well,
game?
Of course, with the new technologies that we have, we will make the dismemberment evolve a little bit, and not only to make it more gory, but maybe to have some kind of evolved mechanics around it. But does it still feel like Dead Space? Does the combat
It seems more
feel
like action
intense like Dead Space? Do you still feel like
than horror.
every round counts when you're getting to after a couple of hours of the game, this kind of thing?
Whoa, what the hell is that? That looks gross.
For us, we don't want to be in siloed and create our own bubble of the game we're making. From the conception, we've linked, we've reached out to members of the community to create a community council to be some sort of sounding board for what we were making sure that if we're deciding to make a change, we want to be able to explain it and get told if, like, no, what are you doing? What are you thinking? You're actually breaking the game. Why are you changing this? And we've received some extremely valid feedback from that group. We're trying to meet with them on a every 2-3 weeks basis to show them content and have that ongoing discussion. And they've
That's
had
good.
access, unfiltered access to what we're making from a very early point in production, which is I think something that was never done at EA, was making some people uncomfortable at first, making us uncomfortable, but that's proven extremely valuable. And I think that
Hey bro, don't
for
you
a
want to
game
play
like
Dragon Ball
us,
Z
which
Fighters?
is, a lot of people consider it a cult classic. I surely do.
Yeah, maybe.
Remaking it, we can't break it. So we need to make sure that we have that conscious that works with us, that gives us those,
Are you playing right
those
now?
cues when we're playing with something and like, you know what, maybe be careful about this for XYZ reason.
You can't stand in the way of God's plan, the natural order.
What's really cool, it's first you discover things that otherwise you might have discovered reading Reddit 2 weeks after launching the game, and you're like, oh man, I wish I knew that. So that's super useful, but also it's really energizing for the team and for the people and even for us, because when you show something and you get feedback and good reactions on what you're doing, it gives you that energy to go like, man, okay, that's cool. Let's keep pushing that.
Wow, that's really cool that they're involving a lot of the fans. That's so cool. That's actually very like wholesome to hear, and I'm glad they are. And wow, imagine being a fan and then being involved. Like imagine being a big fan and then being involved into one of like your favorite games, and you actually get to have input and stuff like that. Well, I hope they're allowing them a lot of input. But that's an amazing thing they're doing. Props to them.
What we are remaking, we are remaking a survival horror classic game, and that's something that's really important for us, and that's also why we're working with the community on this one.
So much of the original Dead Space was on the highs and lows, managing that curve of tension, managing like I'm not sure I want to turn that corner because I don't know what's going to happen, and those surprises. So that's something that, as a message to the team and a focus for our group, is essential. Making sure that we get the right pacing to avoid going too much in a direction of action and get that scavenger loop and that slow pace. I need to make sure that every bullet counts.
I wonder how long this game is.
I've always been a fan of.
You made it sound like you could do it in one sitting.
And I'm also a big fan of sci-fi, and that's why I really loved Dead Space. It's because it adds that unique mix of sci-fi, horror, gore, etc. And I was like really sucked into it. And I've never had before the opportunity to work on a survival horror game. And when I had the discussion with the people at Motive, they had me with
he wasn't there
Space,
on the
like,
first
yes,
when the game first came out.
I mean, whatever. I want to be there.
That's interesting.
It's really kind of a love letter to fans that we want to write with this game, and we're part of those fans. So the passion that we have in making it, I hope it translates into the results of what we're seeing now and all the things that we'll be showing in the future.
There's plenty more to learn about the Dead Space remake, so be sure to head over to IGN for even more from Phil and Roman on the remake's creation, and be sure to check out the full reveal trailer.
Dude, that's so cool that's very hype that they were allowing all these fans to really put their input in and all that. I mean, I've never actually played any of the Dead Spaces, but it seems like I really missed out on some fucking good content. But maybe I'll get to play it soon on stream. Wow, I don't know how they could fail here, man. Really, when all these new remakes come out, I don't know how any of these developers can fail on fucking amazing games like this. Like, if you fuck up a remake of a game or whatever they want to fucking call it, you gotta re-question if you really should be developing. But with this one, it doesn't seem like they're gonna mess up anything. They're doing everything they can, and seems like they're holding it as a treasure, a trophy, and repolishing it. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna buy it for sure, and I'm gonna play it. sometime soon on stream. We'll see though. That was good.